Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. I was thinking in this video to share with you this fun and easy doodle idea, and well, I think I wanted to make this one a little bit looser and fun, and that is how I felt, so well, I guess I wanted to share it with you. And those are the doodles we're going to doodling at the end, and I always like to pre-sketch my doodles before I start painting because, well, I do like to, when I do them, I do like to make my background having in mind how at the end those doodles will look. Well, I know many of you or most of you make the background and then just look what they can see and doodle on that background, but I like to pre-sketch my doodles and then paint the background just having them in mind. I will leave the photo of the doodles in that right upper corner so you can just follow along. Maybe it will make it easier for you, and you just know where we're going. And I started off with pre-wetting my paper, and after that used a little bit of burnt sienna and also some olive green to make my background. And as you could have seen, I did go with the vertical strokes just to make the impression that there are some stems over there. And right now I'm sprinkling some, well, this is some turquoise color. All the materials I will be using are listed down in the description box, so go ahead and check them out. And if you're not sure what colors to pick and you don't have the same colors as I do, well, I will also link down in the description box the video where I talk about choosing colors when following a tutorial or just using your own reference photo, how to choose colors when you don't have the one that are used in the painting. I also tapped in some of that turquoise color into the parts of my painting, my bookmarks, where those flowers are gonna be, and I did not try to paint the shape of flower, but just block in the colors where I'm gonna doodle those flowers. After that, I sprinkled some cadmium yellow medium and also some Venetian red. And while the paint is still wet, I sprinkled also some clean water because I do like the effect that I get when I sprinkle clean water. It just picks up a little bit of the paint and leaves those beautiful white colors of paper peeking through. And for sprinkling, I'm using a smaller round brush because I've noticed that when I'm using mine larger round brush, it can hold a lot of water and it does not release water and paint so easily, so I really can't sprinkle or splatter with it, so I'm using a smaller brushes for splattering. Since I've noticed while I was drying my paper that those white marks from clean water are actually disappearing, meaning that the paint was too wet and the paper was too wet when I sprinkled it first time. I dried it a little bit, and while the paint is still wet, not damped, but slightly wet, I'm again using a smaller round brush and sprinkling some clean water, and now the effect will be a little bit more visible, and I actually really do like how it looks. After that, I'm just drying my paper and paint completely. And you can of course see whether you like the effect or not, whether you want to add a little bit more water or not. Just look while you're drying your paint and your paper. Just look if the effect is quite visible or not. If you see that it's again mixing with the paint and not really leaving that beautiful marks and white paper peeking through, just stop again, sprinkle some more water, and well, keep drying it. And if it's not visible again, just again stop and sprinkle some water. Do that as much times as you like. And after the paper and the paint completely dried, I'm using a Micron pen. This is a number 3, quite thin, and I'm using that paint because I do not have a thicker one. And if you do have a thicker one, I advise you to use a thicker marker because this one is quite, well, I think it's quite thin, and it really wouldn't bother if it was a little bit thicker. So now I'm using a Micron pen, and you can use any any water-soluble pen, because we will be adding some more paint on the top of those doodles. And if you do not have a waterproof marker, just use any marker you have. But first, at this point, while I'm doing these doodles, you should maybe just sketch your doodles with just a regular pencil. And after we do the second layer of the watercolors and we finished with watercolors completely, you dry it completely, then go over your sketch you've done with the pencil, just go over it with your marker. It doesn't have to be even black marker, you can use any marker you like. That's just a matter of your preference, and just keep in mind this is a really fun painting, so there are really no rules. And as I was saying, just when we finished and you make sure that the paint is not wet anymore, you can just use any marker, because we won't do anything on top of it anymore, and it really doesn't matter if it is water soluble or not. And if you do have a thin marker, as I do, you can of course, when we finished the first doodling, go over those doodles and make your lines a little bit thicker if you like that, if you want that, and if you think your lines are too thin. When finished with our doodles, and I really noticed that this Micron pen and ink from it dries quite fast. So while I finished the other two, my first one dried, so I can go over the doodles with my paint without worrying that it would smudge. And well, I'm using again the same colors as I used before, and just as you see, I'm not really trying to paint in the lines that I've doodled, just adding a little bit more of paint to the parts where the flowers are and where the doodles are, and well, just have fun and add paint and color wherever you want, how you feel it should look like and how you like it. You can of course add a little bit more splatters, never enough splatters, you cannot go overboard with that. And for now I did cover my other two bookmarks because I really don't want these splatters to go into them. You know, I'm not sure if they're your thing, but doodles aren't really my thing, and I did not actually paint a lot of them and doodled a lot of them. But you know, when I got that Micron pen, I wanted to try it because I always like to doodle on my paper with a pen with a pen. And well, I never did, you know, on top of the watercolors and make these sort of doodles. And I said to myself, well, it's always so relaxing to doodle on paper, so why not try it on watercolors? I mean, I know people do that, but I never did. And so when I tried it, and well, I loved it. I find it so relaxing, and I find it so calming, you know. And that repetitive process of doodling the same doodle, and just those lines going over, and just creating some beautiful doodles. I'm not sure what you like to doodle. Maybe you like to doodle flowers, maybe you like to doodle buildings, maybe you like to doodle cars, whatever you like to doodle. Well, I never thought I would do it on watercolor paper and on top of the watercolors, but as I said, when I started, I just find it so relaxing. And now whenever I'm stressed and I don't want to paint any painting that requires, you know, me being there present and just be focused, I paint and draw doodles, and I love it. I really do love it. So if you never tried it, I encourage you to try it, and I'm sure you will love it also. So with those couple of last details and again some sprinkles, we will be finishing off this painting, those doodles, and of course this video. Thank you guys a lot for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like button, comment, share it. And if you haven't still, please subscribe to my channel. It would really mean a lot to me. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell, because I think if you don't do it, you won't be notified about my new videos and you can easily miss some of them. So without further ado, I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!